Hello and welcome to the Screen Chronicles. I'm Colby, and with me as always is Steve, Tomcat Pride Kujic.
Oh!
And today we're coming at you with a new episode about The Boys on Amazon Prime. We're going to today go over the first 4 episodes of the second season of The Boys because they just came out. Then we're going to do another episode on the next 4 as soon as those come out. So Steve, we watched season 1 of The Boys. Wow. Last year?
Yeah, I think about last year.
And that was a wild ride. I mean,
yeah. If you're unfamiliar with the show, it's basically sort of a social commentary on the world, relating to social media, how celebrities portray themselves, and basically how they have one face to society and another twisted face that behind closed doors, and it's superheroes that are the celebrities. There's politics.
Superheroes were corporized.
Yeah,
to make money off of them. And
exactly. Like
really,
it's like Disney's Marvel people. It tacos. There's so many tacos. It tackles like so many social political things like really well without being too in your face, I think, and it was fun.
Yeah, not too in your face about the political things. I will say this about the show. I like the show a lot. It's not for everybody. There's some very mature and immature themes throughout. I think we were kind of shocked when we started watching season 1 at some of like the goriness of it and like some of the adult themes that were in the show. So again, if you're going in to watch a superhero show, it's not what you're going to get.
That's not what you're going to get.
But it's fun. It's interesting. And they do kind of comedically go over these, like you said, like these social issues and in a really clever and creative way, I think.
Yeah. It's kind of like South Park, the superheroes TV series almost.
Yeah. We've got like Carl Urban in it, and it's pretty cool to see him. We've seen him in like Thor Ragnarok, and we've seen him in
Lord of the Rings.
So
Dread.
I've always liked him,
yes.
But it's cool to see him as like the lead here. In season 1, he was pretty awesome. And here in season 2, we're going to get into some spoiler talks in a second. He's a little bit frustrating at times, I would say.
Yeah.
But we're going to get into spoiler talk in a second, but I'm just going to talk about what we thought about it because I've enjoyed these first 4 episodes. What about you?
Yeah, same. So now we're pretty much going to get into spoiler territory here. So if you haven't seen the show, check it out first. But generally, yeah, I'm digging these first 4. I said this to you about the first 3 after I watched them. I like the first 4 more than I like the first 4 from the first season. But I like the first episode from season 1 better than the first episode of this season.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think, though, after you have like one season that went over well, you kind of have to have sort of like okay, now what are all the connections now? Definitely good first 4 episodes for sure. It's got me excited for the rest of the season. Some very surprising stuff. Some stuff that made us die laughing for sure.
Especially this last one. So, I mean, like Colby said earlier, there's a lot of mature things and immature things in the show. So if you've listened to us before, we might be talking about some more crass things, but that's because there's crass things in the show. So,
that's not who Steve and I are.
No.
No way.
We're perfect.
We are. We're just straight edge. We don't think any of that's funny.
Straight edge.
None of that's we don't think that's funny.
Yeah, no, we don't send each other weird memes or anything.
Anyway, let's go. Yeah, I know.
but generally, some big things I'm digging from this season is I really like Anthony Starr as Homelander, and I really like Jack Quaid as Huey, Erin as Annie, like you said, Starlight, and I really loving Chance Crawford as the Deep. I'm loving the Deep's arc so far.
We're gonna start there.
Yeah.
So last season we met the Deep, and what we learned about him pretty quick was he was like tried to sexually harass
He
Starlight,
successfully sexually harassed.
Yeah, like right when she came up, and then like he kind of got pushed out of the Seven because like his powers like didn't really do much.
Yeah,
like,
and then there was the sexual allegations against him from
yeah.
Starlight, and then that was even marketed against her, which was, or for her, like Vought was trying to hush all of it when she came out, and then they turned it around and like, oh, this is good, women power, and it's just like, it's just so how corporations are. But anyway, yeah, with the Deep though.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, he became kind of more of a joke that season.
To the Seven, and like and it's kind of a funny thing with like Aquaman. I feel like they're making fun of Aquaman. It's like, okay, but like, yeah, maybe he can help you when there's a fight in the middle of the water, maybe. But like, what happens when something's on land? Like,
there's just always so many Aquaman sucks kind of things out there. You know, like I think Family Guy has torn him apart. And like Robot Chicken, I remember they would make fun of him.
Yeah,
like, it needs to be near a lake, guys. Like,
yeah.
And that's basically like him in the show, is like the parody of Aquaman. And then, but it's just his whole, like, I guess getting indoctrinated into this religious body that's trying to like get him in. I guess to sink their teeth into. It's really funny.
It's really funny.
His I love the singing.
Oh, I was totally gonna go down and buy a fresco.
Want a fresca?
Or a fresca. I was gonna go buy one and surprise you. and an almond joy. I was gonna get one of those too. Yeah, but the Gill scenes though were weird and hilarious, and I here's what I thought when I was watching those scenes. I was like, imagine him like the actor. Like, what's going through his head right now? Like, obviously he's got a fun role to play. It's probably a lot of fun to play that role. He probably laugh a lot. But it's like, we want you to play the superhero, like Aquaman, like Jason Momoa. A couple years later, he's sitting in a bed by himself singing to his gills. It's hilarious.
Was it You're Beautiful? Just
to me.
That's it, to me. Can't you see? And I forget, I think Patton Oswalt was the voice of the Gills. He's like,
is that right? I didn't know that.
I think so. And it was so good. I mean, just
that's hilarious.
And they look so real. They look so real.
I was also very uncomfortable watching that.
Yeah, because it just makes you in pain. Because you're like imagining things in your ribs, and
my gills don't look anything like that.
Yeah, it's kind of cool though, because like anatomically, that's where gills would probably be on a human. Because here's our lungs.
And he is so self-conscious about it, which leads to one of the most hilarious moments. He's like, that's like what he's struggling with kind of during this like religious thing, is he's so like, he doesn't want people to see his gills. He's covering them up. They're like trying to tell him to accept like who he is, the whole "you're beautiful to me" thing and stuff like that. And I think he's like starting to gain confidence. He finally comes back, and the first time he encounters the Seven again, we'll talk about that scene later, but Homelander, like the first thing he says is like, or maybe the last thing, he's like, "Oh, by the way, geez, cover up your gills. Ugh, you can see it."
Freaking gross, man.
Yeah, it's gross. It's like all that self-confidence he had built up.
Homelander just. But it's kind of cool that they like try to like, they're turning in why he was, so mean to women. It was because he was insecure about himself, and so it
is cool,
projected that onto someone else and that sort of thing. Because that's like a realistic way if someone behaves, I guess. But I still like that he's still a joke. And then like I was like, are they going to try and make him cool here?
I know,
especially when he was chasing the boys down. And you're like, oh, is he going to be cool? And he's like, no, he's still a joke. He's
riding a whale. It's got sharks like coming through. It was awesome. And then, well, we might as well talk about it now.
Might as well talk about it.
And then he like tries to like set a barrier on the beach with his whale, and he's like standing on top of it all, like, "Come at me, bro." And Carl Urban, Billy Butcher, just is like, "Okay," floors it. Poor whale.
Just everyone goes heads down and just goes into the whale, and he falls off and gets knocked out. I was just done. Every scene he's in now, I'm just laughing every time.
I know.
Before I was like, "Ooh, that guy's a jerk." Like he's got what's coming to him, even like in a later.
We're glad like he was getting what was coming to him.
Yeah.
Now it's just hilarious,
and now it's just funny. And then this world's version of Hawkeye.
Yeah, and I love this little thing they did about how he was like trying to save the day someplace, and he was shooting everybody, and then he ran out of arrows, and that's kind of why he needed to go to this cult and like get.
He's like, what am I?
What therapy
doing? What was I thinking?
And that's just like the idea of like whenever I watch like Legolas or any other archer in a show, I'm always like, how many arrows do they have? They're just like rattling them off. It's like, is it just like refill automatically? Like what happens?
A quiver can only hold so many arrows.
I'm so glad they covered that. They cover every other like stupid thing with that doesn't make sense about superheroes. So.
But anyway, when it started out too, I guess when the season started out, we ended the first season off with this cliffhanger about how Homelander just drops in on Butcher's wife, who Butcher was looking for the whole first season, and you thought maybe Homelander raped her and killed her, but apparently he only raped her and had a kid with her, and he found out where she was, and he brought Butcher there, and it ends like right there, like with everyone reunited, and you're kind of wondering, did she betray Butcher? Did his wife betray him?
Mm-hmm.
Like, was it consensual? Did they basically betray Butcher, and she's been hiding out there? Like, it was wondering what the heck was going on. And then when we first started out the next episode of this season, I was just kind of like, why are we not picking up right from there? I want to see what happened right there. And I think they handled it pretty well. They show how Homelander is basically, just this evil dude that's like trying to work his way into this family. He really wants a family. He was like basically a lab rat growing up.
Yeah.
So he has these weird mom issues and stuff like that too. And it's just so I liked how they handled it, but I was still like, come on, this first episode, you can't end on a cliffhanger like that and just be like, nope.
I remember when we watched that cliffhanger the first time, and I was like, man, what a horrible place to end, man. Oh man. And it was heartbreaking.
Yes.
Because what it looked like was that like she left Billy Butcher for Homelander.
Yeah, that's what it looked like.
Which we find out wasn't really the case.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they didn't really make it like land like it wasn't the way it was. Like they didn't emphasize.
No, not till this last episode, because I kept thinking like, why is he like not super pissed at her? Like Billy Butcher, like for having a kid with Homelander, and then in episode 4 she says he raped me.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, wow, I feel like that would be I don't know. Why wasn't this addressed before?
Yeah. The whole time he's interacting with her, you can tell there's tension between them, that she doesn't want him there, but it's like, is she just scared of what he's going to do to the kid? But she used to have a thing for him because I think
with Homelander?
Yeah, because I think at that party, like, I think that she kind of gave him the eyes at one point or something like that.
That's the thing.
We see her going into his room or something like that.
Exactly. In season 1, I remember this now.
And like,
so it's like
a lot of that still wasn't like explained, I don't think.
So I don't know if I still buy.
Yeah.
Like maybe he very well may have raped her. Even if like she was like kind of putting herself, like giving him the impression that she was interested. Mm-hmm. So she might not be 100% innocent.
Yeah.
Either with, as far as cheating on Billy Butcher.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but they're not diving into it that elaborately yet.
The way the show is, no one really presents themselves the way they really are, and that's always like a commentary, I guess, on how, people will be showing themselves on social media or through politics or on the news, how they be showing them as this one pure person, but then in real life they're having orgies in this room and drinking mother's milk and things like that, and just like all this weird stuff. And so that's what I wonder. I wondered if she isn't this good person. You know, that's kind of what I'm thinking, because I'm always like, you seem too good to be true, lady.
Yeah.
And in this last episode, episode 4, she did kind of betray Butcher. So I was like, maybe that's her one thing, but I feel like there's more. And at one point they say they made a deal, and she told Butcher that was, if you spare him, or if you don't spare him, I'll kill myself in front of the
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
That's what it was. But I don't know. I'm still just not buying it. I feel like something else.
Yeah, especially when you think about the season 1 scenes where it just like looked like she straight up was going to cheat on him.
Yeah. And the fact that we didn't see what happened after Butcher got dropped there. We didn't see what happened. We saw he just woke up in like a restaurant.
He doesn't really remember.
Yeah. He was like trying to write down everything he remembered.
He remembered before it left.
Yeah.
So he's still trying to figure out what happened too.
Yeah.
I guess. But I mean, this last episode, in episode 4, he, finally climbed the wall and went back and finally like reconnected with her. And like you said, she betrayed him at the end again.
Yeah.
I think she's also, I don't think she's 100% like the nicest lady in the world, nicest woman. I think she may have done some bad stuff. She also may have been a victim. So, can't say that she wasn't a victim though. It's not black and white.
No. Yeah.
But at the same time, I do think she's really scared of Homelander. I think she's scared for Billy Butcher. Like, I think she's worried about him getting killed because of her, and she's worried about her son. Something bad happening to him, and especially when Billy Butcher said something really bad. What did he say? He's like, he's an effing soup.
Oh, that's right. He did. He called him a soup. And like, I thought they both made good points too, is what I was like, I don't know whose side I want to be on here. I want them both to get together, but she's like, that's one thing we keep seeing Butcher this season is, and even we saw it some at the second half of the first season is, his goals are like priority number 1. He kind of doesn't care who he burns on the way.
Yeah.
And he's used to dealing with people who are okay with that, but his wife isn't okay with that. Huey isn't really okay with that. So he was like kind of being a jerk to Huey at these first few episodes, and his wife even knows that he can be really determined and kind of a jerk. So she's just like you're gonna try and get rid of him like as soon as we can, like as soon as we're together. Like it might be a year or 2 later, but it's gonna be something you do.
Yeah. And
like he doesn't really even deny it. He's just like, but he's their property. He's Vought's property.
Yeah.
Like he's like, they're gonna be after him all the time. And you're like, well, that's true, but like it's a kid.
Exactly, dude. Vought is crazy. And you see it with Starlight. I mean, with Starlight, we got to see her in season 1, what she was like before she was in Vought, before she was part of the 7. And then we got to kind of see through her eyes what is behind all this corporation, Yeah. The corruptness and everything behind it. And
imagine it's kind of like a lot of sort of trying to make a commentary on like how a lot of actresses are about how Hollywood looks so glamorous and everything. And then you might have to deal with Harvey Weinstein to get in through the gates. And
that's what it seemed like when Starlight showed up and Deep was like telling her stuff like,
Yeah, and then you have to deal with all this fake PR stuff for an image, and
exactly
from her own personal look to they try to sex her up some, and like it's and it's been tough to watch her too, because the first episode she's just like pulling off her wig, she looks depressed and
she looks sad. Yeah, she doesn't like it. It's like, but it's not as easy to just leave that place, Yeah, can't necessarily just leave.
Yeah, because one, they've got the whole PR and all that stuff behind them. And, one of the new characters even comments like, you're bulletproof, why worry? But there's one guy who I love to hate, and I think it's so realistic if you had like a jerk with these powers, Homelander.
Homelander, man.
You've got this guy who can kill pretty much anybody.
Whenever he wants.
He's Superman if he was raised in a lab and no one ever gave him a hug.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
He has all these weird social awkwardness, and he's basically, I guess, trying to portray himself as like the ultimate right-wing sort of guy. But he's got all these weird insecurities, and he
needs to be liked by everybody. They're making the point, and
but I just love that how he's coming more onto his own, and that was one big arc from season 1 is that he was still a tool from everyone though. He listened to
Madeline Stillwell,
Stillwell in front of him, and and he's still dealing with wanting to be liked by everyone. Not really by the end of 4, but. And so that was really cool, I guess, when he finally just like burned Stillwell, and he's just like, I can run this stuff. I have good ideas. I'm invincible. And so we've still got that carrying over, but he's still listening to some of the executives. He's still worrying about his public image and commercials. And but this last episode, though, I kind of wonder if he's going to go over that line and just be like, I'm going to be king of the world now. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
because like that's what he could realistically be. I mean, no one could kill him. Like, no one.
Seems like that's where he's headed. He kind of. We might as well talk about this. The beginning of episode 4. Madeline Stillwell, who he like killed her by like lasering her face last season. And by the way, who this season he's blamed that all on Billy Butcher. That's kind of why Billy Butcher's had to kind of go into hiding and be elusive here, because he's like public enemy number 1 because he killed Madeline Stillwell.
Yeah, and he did come in with a suicide vest.
He did
that at that point, and he was ready to try and kill Homelander, but that didn't hurt Homelander at all. Didn't put a scratch on him.
Yeah, it was easy to frame that way.
Yeah,
but really, and that shocked Billy Butcher because he was like in the room when Homelander evaporated her head.
Yeah.
And that was pretty crazy. Yeah. So when she was like, he just like showed up at a house. I was like, what house is this? I don't recognize this. Goes in and she was there. I was like, no. Because it's not like they didn't show what happened. They showed her face get melted. Like, okay.
Frosty the Snowman on summer day.
I was like, what the heck's going on? There's like this long dialogue scene, and they get really weird with the milk. And,
milk again.
He does this weird thing where he has to like do it with his tongue. Like they don't just drink it at first; they have to like dip it in with their fingers, and then, it's like sexual, and it's like weird, and it's like uncomfortable. This is what I'm saying. Like.
Yeah, this is like
cringy stuff.
The epitome of some of the cringy scenes. There's like these weird sex scenes sometimes, and that's like normal, like Game of Thrones level. And then there's like this, which is like South Park but dark and
like strange and like, oh man, uncomfortable. Even like when no one's in the room watching it with you, it's like uncomfortable to watch.
Who's gonna walk in on me? I don't like this.
I don't like this part.
Let me just put my milk down real quick. Well, I'm eating my dinner here.
And so anyway, he's having a conversation and he's got like his head on her lap, and then like
just starts to turn back into this hairy potato looking dude.
He's like, change back. It was Doppelganger. The superhero Doppelganger can shapeshift into like anybody. And he's like, he's like freaking out. Change back right now.
We saw Doppelganger in the first season use his powers for another just terrible scene to watch. But it would be like a realistic, what if someone had these powers working for a corporation?
Yeah.
Sort of scene too. Which is what I really like about the show is just what if people with us, like us, who had flaws and were jerks and were self-motivated and wanted to be loved by people and make money, what would they do? Like, this is like stuff they would do.
It's funny how odd and unrealistic the show is, yet it's like super realistic with the themes.
Yeah.
With the themes that they do. And then later, Doppelganger's trying to talk like Madeline Stillwell and try to cheer up Homelander after some things happened. And Homelander's just like not having it. He's upset. and he changes into Homelander, doppelganger. So Homelander is standing there wearing this lingerie, and like, you tell the rest.
And he was
You tell the rest, Steve.
well, you see, people. Well, Homelander was basically seduced. All you need is your. He's like, I only need myself. For the real Homelander is like, I only need myself. And then Doppelganger took that as a cue, I guess, since he's been working as his like sex confidant in the cabin here to like, all right, well, I guess I'll turn into you. And then it's just, I'm just like, please no, please let's not see this. I don't want to have this on my brain. I can't get behind Homelander now because he's cool and funny, and I don't like the guy. If he was a real person, I would like him. But as a character on a show,
Character's awesome.
It was like if this goes down, if he goes down, like I can't get behind him on this. But so luckily though, he ends up killing himself.
Well. Doppelganger, yeah.
He kills Doppelganger Homelander, and he's like, I don't need love. I don't need to be loved, and that's what I mean. Like, here we go.
Yeah, this is him getting over that hump. Like, he's been controlled for his whole life. Like, what's he gonna be like when he's not controlled?
He's had all of these things to keep him in check. The most powerful being in the world has had, mommy issues. He got over that kind of. He's had, the PR. He's had social media, press.
Now he has like the CEO of Vought.
Yeah, and now he's kind of just checking those off, out of his way.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like he's gonna realize at some point he doesn't need these people.
Yeah, it's like it's crazy.
Yeah,
and he, I'm
excited for that.
So talking about the only thing that's really kind of in his way, well, now I guess there's two things, and they're on the same team. Is one of the things is Giancarlo Esposito's character. Now, if you don't know Giancarlo Esposito, he played Gustavo Fring in Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, and he played Moff Gideon.
Moff Gideon.
He's Moff Gideon.
Moff Gideon. Moff Gideon. Ooh.
What made you think of that?
Giddy, like when you're
you're giddy.
Giddy.
Okay.
I'm Moff Gideon. That's what he should be in season 2.
I don't want to do this anymore. Anyway, no, but Giancarlo Esposito, like, he's kind of the same character in all these roles. Like Gus Fring puts on the super professional face, yet deep inside he's just like this gang lord, he has his own like cartel.
Yeah, he presents himself very professional, well-spoken, polite, and then he's like,
he'll like kill you.
I'll kill you. I'm in charge of these deadly people.
Yeah, so he's not so much, I guess, we haven't seen him do anything physically, personally yet, but we know he doesn't care about Homelander that much. Like, but he brought on Stormfront. So I don't like her on the show, but I think it's an awesome character to have in the show.
It's just like how I said earlier that Homelander is kind of the sort of like the right-wing parody, I guess, that you would see from like Superman or some other superhero, I guess, that you might see a combination of like Captain America, Superman, whatever. And now she's kind of like the left-wing parody of other superheroes and maybe more modern things, or even actresses or actors portraying superheroes, how they present themselves versus how they might really be. How they're a little hypocritical and that people don't really care, though, how they present themselves. And I really like one of the lines she said in this last episode about when Homelander came to her, saying you're hurting my image. People aren't liking me or something to that effect. And she's like, you can't have everyone like you. You just need enough people to hate something.
Yeah.
You have fans. I have an army.
I have soldiers.
That's it. I have soldiers. And that's like so true. That's how people don't try and please everyone out on social media. They just try and get other people angry.
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
polarize people, and
That's
that's
very much a really good metaphor for what's going on a lot now.
yes,
You know,
and that could be either side. And
either side of whatever political side you fall on. It's the extremes of either side. That's what you see,
yes,
and that's kind of what she's talking about. And it's kind of interesting because I think Homelander, like you said, he represents kind of the conservative, kind of more old-fashioned kind of style, like, and she's kind of coming in as like the sort of liberal
Portland, Oregon
Portland,
superhero,
Oregon, yeah, superhero. She's
California.
she's live streaming everything and like protesting all the time and like running protests. I'm like the company she's like working for.
Yeah,
It's just weird. It's like, you know,
a lot of celebrities though
and
that
her name's Aya Cash, who plays her. Yeah, we know a lot of celebrities that do that
they
kind of stuff.
protest certain things, but then their companies do the same things that they protest against. But the thing is, they never acknowledge it though. They never say, "Well, so and so company also does." But anyway, I think it's just so good. I like that they don't.
Yeah,
They tackle both sides of bad issues, I guess, or both issues.
Yeah. She is extremely brash though, and the actress does such a good job being like the person in the room that everybody like is like, oh my god, like really, like this one guy's like pitching an idea that he has,
Mm-hmm.
and she's just done all the homework on why it's horrible, and she's like about to tell him, but she's being like nice about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, they're more like headlines, you know, that I want to go over. And like he's trying to be professional. Oh, okay. Like, and she's just ripping it apart. Should we go on?
I was at times liking her though, because I liked how brash she was.
Well, it
And,
was
like,
interesting because she was opposing Homelander,
yeah,
who was like the one we don't like, and then she
was
kind of
saying
came
bad
in
things about Vought too.
about Vought. It was like, oh, is she going to be a good character?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and yeah, and
But
so
then when she's finally chasing down Kimiko's brother, who
Yeah.
was brought in as a
it's like another soup. He's got the Force,
he's got the force,
so with his hands he can like manipulate things, and
but he
move
has to be able to like move his hands though. So he's
move
like
his
a
hands.
bender.
So
He's like
yeah, they like duct taped him together, and he couldn't do anything. Really.
yeah. He's like,
He could get one finger out, and he could like, just barely get it to him. And she's chasing him down, and like, I think, how does she show up? She's like, "Hey guys," and then she walks in, and there's civilians in their apartment living, and she just like totally unnecessarily throws one of the civilians into like a fridge, and like his head hits it and dies. And it's just like, whoa. While, you know, Kimiko and her brother are getting away,
you
she
just,
throws some random dude out a window.
you
while
just
she's
see her
walking
like
up the stairs.
from the outside going up the floors, and it's just, that was such a cool scene. But like I liked how that
Shocking.
like it happened, but it wasn't like a pause, show it, pause moment. She just comes in there, and like you're just kind of like like your brain's trying to keep up, because you're like, this person wouldn't hurt innocent people, but like I just saw her.
Yeah, because
fly
she's
a
like all
dude.
for the people. She's
Yeah.
all for the people, you know,
And
and
she's just like,
she's against corporations, and yeah, and she like blows up this building full of civilians, and for no reason, you know what I mean? And so yeah, it just shows how like she's like evil deep down. She's evil. Kimiko's brother like is getting away, and now he comes back at the end of the day and he saves his sister, which was cool. And then he's gonna lose that fight because Stormfront just like grabs his hands. It just like snaps him.
I can't do
And-
your hand things anymore. Why?
Yeah,
is
she's-
that? Why? Why
Oh,
can't
do
you
your hand things anymore? Why not?
like that same like
Patronizing
West
voice.
Coast accent? Yeah.
Yeah, like Kimiko luckily gets away, but she had to watch her brother die in that way. And she also called him right before he died. She called him like a yellow bastard. So she's like, she like on camera, she'd probably be like to people, everybody's important. All, you know, those lives matter. Like, you know,
Yeah.
she'd probably be like
Saying off
vocally
whatever
supporting
hashtag.
that
Yeah.
population of the country, you know,
Mhm.
and talking about how they're oppressed in some way. Yet
Mhm.
this showed who she truly was.
Yeah. Like
You know,
really racist
typical
way
people.
and kills them.
Super racist, kills them. And then she was racist again.
We
towards
find
black
out
people.
in the past, yeah. It turns out she
Yeah.
was Liberty, which was cool. And now you see like, oh, she's got like some big plans. She's not just someone Vought brought in. Like she's got her own plan, it seems like, too. If she's someone from like way back, like Liberty, you're like, oh, that sounds kind of like Captain America or something. You know what I mean? And now she's Stormfront now. She's like relabeled, and
she said she's updated with the times now, you know.
Yeah.
And she is. She's like, she's like the most modern character in the show now. You know? Like it's crazy. So now we have this rivalry sort of that kind of exemplifies what's going on today, with Homelander on one end being pretty conservative guy, and on the other end,
the far left for Stormfront,
far left.
I feel like Stormfront.
And I'd say it's more the extremes of both of those, though.
Yeah, and I feel like
far extremes.
I feel like at some points though, either of them could be on the other, especially when they're doing their own weird things. I feel like they flip flop, and I think that's like kind of the message they're trying to get across. Is like they're like both those extremes can have some similarities and these weird differences, and but and two, I feel like she keeps dropping hints at Homelander, like she likes him. Like that one meeting they come out of, and when he was standing up to Vought, he was like saying Vought doesn't care about us, and they don't care about the serum, they don't care how we feel. She like came up to him afterwards and was like, hey, like maybe I don't know you or something like that. Like and even like the knockoff Wonder Woman was like rolling her eyes at that, and and then she would like even later when he confronted her, she was like, just come back here anytime for anything. And like she seems like she might be into him. And
exactly.
So I'm kind of interested as to where this all goes.
Because it seems like he doesn't like her a lot right now. I mean, she's kind of stealing his thunder.
Mm-hmm.
She's a new person. She's like, she saved the day there in the media's eyes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like jealous, and
I think he's starting to learn some
now
lessons from her, though.
So
that's what
at the end of the episode, she really kind of warmed up to him.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'll be here for you or anytime or something. It was weird. I thought she was just going to be snarky at him again.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, she was like kind of educating him. I think she's trying to get him onto her side.
And now we know she's been
like
involved a long time. She's been a superhero for a long time.
Yeah. So I don't know if she likes him because she actually likes him, or she's trying to kind of replace that Stillwell role in his life, and now she can tell him what to do.
Yeah.
And kind of take that power.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's interesting. Yeah. Another theme that you can relate to the real world is pushing your kids off roofs.
Oh, man.
Just kidding. Don't relate that.
Don't do that.
That's
bad. We don't condone that.
But Homelander did, and that was hilarious.
The whole time, too, I was thinking maybe he doesn't have it. Maybe his kid doesn't have it.
I know.
So when they're up on the roof, I had already seen in the trailer where Homelander shoves off his kid, and they show like a clip, and it's just like him falling off the roof. They don't show him hit the ground or anything. So I was like, this could end either way. Yeah. Like the way the show is, you know. And
he could land. He could fly. You know, he could like not land. You know, and just be hovering there, like, oh, I can do it.
Or he could fall and die.
No, it's just in real time, pushes him and he just thuds. Oh my god!
And I thought he was hurt though. I was like,
I thought he died. I was like, oh
and
my
he was
god.
like, and his mom came out there rushing, and she was concerned. So I was also like, maybe he doesn't have powers, or. But Homelander the whole time was like, nah, he's fine. Kid's fine. Kid's fine.
And sure enough, the kid is like fine. He's not even hurt.
Yeah. And then when she's going back in then too, I was like, all right, he's definitely got something. Like they're going to reveal it later. If he's obviously fine. Like no one would be fine. I wouldn't be fine. And then he grabs the wrist, and then all of a sudden the kid's eyes light up red, and he shoves Homelander down. And
Homelander's so happy about that.
Yeah. That's my boy.
He's just like, they kept trying to do, starting by doing father-son stuff, and they'd all both be happy playing catch, and Homelander would just be like, all right, do your powers. you use your powers. I don't have any. Yeah, you do. Use them.
You'd be like, all right, come on, drop it. Come on, drop the charade. Do it.
Use your powers.
And
Yeah,
I kind of felt for Homelander too, honestly, when he was like talking with his kid on the bed and opened up about like how he didn't have a family, and he's being honest about how he felt. I don't know if he'd ever done that with anyone on the show before, even though we knew these things about him.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like this guy was messed up. Like it's not his fault. Like he was messed
I was
up.
wondering what direction they were going in when they had Stormfront blow up that building and then go to the press conference and then act like she was the hero that the other guy blew up the building, which was so infuriating to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Wonder because they showed like her smug little grin looking at Homelander, who just looked pissed. I was like, are they going to make him kind of like they're going to bring in a new bad guy and make him the hero or something, make him more likable? But I don't know now after episode 4 if that's still the direction they're going to go.
I don't think so. I think we've just got more bad guys.
But it seemed like that for a second. Like he was
gonna
go against them. And
another great Homelander thing we got to talk about is the first episode when they bring on basically the equivalent of like Daredevil, Marvel Daredevil. This blind guy is coming in. He's showing his stuff in the gym, and then the new woman who's filling in for Stillwell, that one woman who was kind of like hush up with all the sexual allegation stuff. She's been promoted, and she's like saying all these things that that like corporation stuff are saying, like, here we go, we're diversifying, we've got this other like so and so lined up, some other minority thing lined up or whatever, like, but saying in corporate ways that she doesn't care. It's all for image. And this guy comes over and he's looking cool, and Homelander just starts out. He's like, "Wow, you're doing great! Like, props to you! Like, not just for showing up for the 7, but for like succeeding in life or something like that." And,
yeah.
And like, he's like so good at like playing that like convincing like care, and then like
I can't even tell.
He switches like on a dime, and he's like, "What would happen though if someone did this?" Whap, and just
takes his sense of hearing away real quick. Now you're just another useless blind person, he said. Oh my God, what a horrible line!
I know. I love how Anthony Starr does that, though. Man, he's so good.
He's a great actor,
and now he's like
the perfect role for him. Oh my God.
My only complaint is when I see him is I can tell he's a small guy under his suit. Like it's so clearly like padding, like, and that's why his like neck thing is up so high, is because he even has like a thin neck.
Really?
Yeah.
I couldn't tell until he was in the lingerie. I never thought about it though.
Well, I could always tell. It's like his elbow just looks weird when he moves it. I'm just like,
yeah, but you don't need to be big if you're, but if you have super strength, you don't have to have big muscles.
Yeah, you're right. I'm just saying like the what's it, the Batman vs Superman Batman suit that Ben Affleck wore. Ben Affleck got big, but his suit made him look like he had actual giant jack muscles. Like, why didn't they get a better suit, I guess, for him? That's all I'm saying. First of all, you should either get a little bit bigger or you should at least have a more convincing, because like to me it just looks like that those like foam Halloween things that you like got when you were kids.
It does kind of look like
I have muscles now, Mom.
Yeah, I'd like to see more the boys Halloween costumes.
Yeah.
Not little kids, because I don't want little kids watching this show. But oh my God, what if like somebody like saw the thumbnail and was like, oh, this looks like a superhero show, let's watch it with my 7-year-old.
Don't watch this with your 7-year-old. Speaking of the boys, though, let's talk about the boys themselves. Like,
yeah, we haven't really talked much about them at all.
I have to say, I think the boys are great because they have probably the most, like, if I was dropped in this situation sort of perspective, I guess, even though they're not really relatable, since that they're like mercenary underground criminal guys.
Yeah.
But like
Mother's Milk and
Huey.
Well, Huey's not a mercenary. Huey just kind of found himself in this situation.
Yeah.
But Mother's Milk and
Frenchie,
they're also just like good dudes, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
I feel like they're still down to earth and like relatable in a lot of ways. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So Mother's Milk too. Like, oh, my friend over there is sitting in a whale's stomach. I need to go and console him because he's kind of upset with how things are going right now.
I love that scene.
He like
After
goes into the whale, like he was just sitting inside of a whale.
They're just hanging out in there.
He just doesn't want to move, and Mother's Milk like comes in and like moves the whale blubber like it's like a tent flap. Hey man, he like gets in, gets a comfortable spot, and just starts sitting next to
It's a
him.
comfortable spot.
The fact that they decided to spend so much time inside of the whale, I love it.
It makes a reason that you could justify it. Let's spend money on this set, this gut set.
Do we have any leftover whale belly sets? Yeah, I feel bad. Huey is like going through a rough time these first 4 episodes. Like,
I feel like any normal person though would, because like he went from having a normal life to his girlfriend got obliterated by basically a superhero junkie, and then like has to go in this underground world and kind of becomes a murderer. Well, he does murder a guy, and then he kind of gets betrayed and does all these things, and now they're just like constantly in like crappy, dirty, gringy, grimy like basements and things, and poor dude, man.
Yeah, totally.
And the last girl he fell in love with too, like, has been kind of like on and off with him here, like has been sort of distancing herself from him here at the beginning.
Had a hard time figuring out what their relationship is.
I don't know.
Like,
I was
and
really
finally
they
got together.
I was happy they were getting back together.
But then
on
she's
that
like, "We can't do this."
I know.
And I was like,
just can't.
"But you decided
because
yesterday you could."
It's too nice. It's too nice. Can't have nice things. Got to be depressed and unhappy all the time.
I know. Huey was actually happy for a little bit. That was great.
Know.
Because Huey's like a good dude. He's like such a good dude. And now it's like shifted. Like now, Mother's Milk and Frenchie are like closer with him now than they are with Billy Butcher. Where in season 1, I think it was like the other way around.
Yeah.
Like, so that's kind of a very interesting thing. But that's the other thing with Billy Butcher wasn't really in the first episode till the end, which was like this mystery. Like, where is he? It was fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was kind of like an anticlimactic entrance. He just kind of came down the stairs. He like kicked a guy, yeah, but it was like I wanted something a little different.
I feel like they're trying to like show like that he's not a likable guy.
I don't think he is in general a likable guy.
Yeah, I think he really only thinks about himself. You know what I mean? Is I guess what it comes down to, and his wife, which is I guess good, but like it's kind of I guess sort of toxic to him in the fact that he doesn't really value any other relationship.
Yeah.
And I think, like you said, Frenchie and Mother's Milk are they started like catching on to that, and they're like, whoa, but Huey cares about us,
It's interesting how the dynamic of the boys has changed. It seems like it's coming. I think Billy Butcher's coming back a little bit to being a little nicer.
Mm-hmm. He did like come back and save Huey from Starlight and Homelander.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Was Starlight actually going to kill Huey?
I think she was.
I kind of think she was.
And he kind of gave her the nod because he's been feeling kind of suicidal. They started off with like a Billy Joel music video, and
where a guy's about to jump off a bridge and
all of a sudden,
yeah. I need to watch that. Not because I feel that way, but I just want to watch that music video because it looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
Billy Joel. I love Billy Joel.
Speaking of the boys, though, let's talk about the boys themselves. Like,
yeah, we haven't really talked much about them at all.
I have to say, I think the boys are great because they have probably the most, like, if I was dropped in this situation sort of perspective, I guess, even though they're not really relatable since that they're like mercenary underground criminal guys.
Yeah.
But like
Mother's Milk and
Huey.
Well, Huey's not a mercenary. Huey just kind of found himself in this situation.
Yeah.
But Mother's Milk and
Frenchie,
they're also just like good dudes. I feel like,
mm-hmm. Yeah.
I feel like they're still down to earth and like relatable in a lot of ways. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So Mother's Milk too. Like, you know, oh, my friend over there is sitting in a whale's stomach. I need to go and console him because he's kind of upset with how things are going right now.
I love that scene.
He like
After
goes into the whale, like he was just sitting inside of a whale.
They're just
And
hanging out in there.
He just doesn't want to move, and Mother's Milk like comes in and like moves the male whale blubber like it's like a tent flap. Hey man, he like gets in, gets a comfortable spot, and just starts sitting next to
It's a
him.
comfortable spot.
The fact that they decided to spend so much time inside of the whale, I love it.
It makes a reason that you could justify it. Let's spend money on this set, you know, this gut set.
Do we have any leftover whale belly sets? You know, yeah, I feel bad. Huey is like going through a rough time these first 4 episodes. Like,
I feel like any normal person though would, because like he went from having a normal life to his girlfriend got obliterated by basically a superhero junkie, and then
yeah,
like has to go in this underground world and kind of becomes a murderer. Well, he does murder a guy, and then he kind of gets betrayed and does all these things, and now they're just like constantly in like crappy, dirty, gringy, grimy like basements and things, and poor dude, man.
yeah, totally.
And the last girl he fell in love with too, like, has been kind of like on and off with him here, like has been sort of distancing herself from him here at the beginning.
Had a hard time figuring out what their relationship is.
I don't know.
Like,
I was
and finally
they
got together.
I was happy they were getting back together.
But then she's like, we can't do this.
I know.
And I was like,
just can't.
but you decided yesterday you could, and then
too nice. It's too nice. Can't have nice things. Got to be depressed and unhappy all the time.
I know. Huey was actually happy for a little bit. That was great. Because Huey's like a good dude. He's like such a good dude. And now it's like shifted. Like now, Mother's Milk and Frenchie are like closer with him now than they are with Billy Butcher. Where in season 1, I think it was like the other way around.
Yeah.
Like, so that's kind of a very interesting thing. But that's the other thing with Billy Butcher wasn't really in the first episode till the end, which was like this mystery. Like, where is he? It was fun. And then it was kind of like an anticlimactic entrance. He just kind of came down the stairs. He like kicked a guy, yeah, but it's like I wanted something a little different.
I feel like they're trying to like show like that he's not a likable guy.
I don't think he is in general a likable guy.
Yeah, I think he really only thinks about himself. You know what I mean? Is I guess what it comes down to, and his wife, which is I guess good, but like it's kind of I guess sort of toxic to him in the fact that he doesn't really value any other relationship. You know?
Yeah.
And I think, like you said, Frenchie and Mother's Milk are they started like catching on to that, and they're like, whoa, but Huey cares about us, you know?
It's interesting how the dynamic of the boys has changed. It seems like it's coming. I think Billy Butcher's coming back a little bit to being a little nicer.
He did like come back and save Huey from Starlight and Homelander.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Was Starlight actually going to kill Huey?
I think she was.
I kind of think she was.
And he kind of gave her the nod because he's been feeling kind of suicidal. They started off with like a Billy Joel music video, and
where a guy's about to jump off a bridge, and,
and all of a sudden,
yeah, I need to watch that. Not because I feel that way, but I just want to watch that music video because it looks pretty cool.
Yeah,
Billy Joel. I love Billy Joel. I'm wonder where their relationship will end up. I don't really want it to keep going back and forth.
I hate back and forth.
I just want it to be.
I want them to end up together because Huey's a great guy. She's like the nicest girl, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And they both had a really good relationship. I love them when they were in the car, and they were I forget what song they were singing, but then Huey just
was
like, hitting the roof.
Yeah, it was Billy Joel, wasn't it?
I think so.
We didn't start the fire.
That's it. Yep. It was Billy Joel again. And then like it just like it's going off, and you just think it's gonna be like this great moment, and all of a sudden Mother Milk's hey, like
Yeah.
no, I'm not your damn chaperone.
I was wondering that whole scene is like, which way is Mother Milk going to go? Is he going to snap and start singing with him, or is he going to snap and freak out on him? This is not a vacation.
That would have been a better twist if he just started singing.
Well, he did open up
threw the
with
windows
Starlight.
down.
Yeah, because he wasn't about it at all. But like, he ended up, Starlight started asking him about his life, and like, it kind of became an interesting twist. He kind of started to like Starlight a little more, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Kimiko is like on a freaking warpath now to take down the girl that killed her brother, take down Stormfront.
I'm starting to like her more now too. She was like, to me, just kind of one-dimensional, rip things, kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Like, kind of, can we trust her? Now she's like kind of starting to like be more human. And that's one thing too. Like when she was having a conversation with her brother in sign language, I was like, how can she not like write anything down then? How can she not like write anything down in her native language for people to understand? Like they explain like,
we got
she
things
can't
to learn
talk.
about her.
Yeah, I feel like they want to limit as much as they can from her so they don't have to write lines for her. Is what I think. Because like I was like, oh, she knows sign language, so she knows what language is.
Yeah.
Like, so we know then like she knows like Japanese, right? Like she would
She
know
doesn't talk.
Japanese.
I don't think she talks at all anymore.
She doesn't talk anymore. She doesn't speak, but she can do her own sign language. And some of it I do recognize is like even American sign language from the little bit that I know. Like
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I know that one. So like I'm like, she knows words. Why can't she write down for these guys? Even if it's in
some
Japanese.
some traumatic thing.
Yeah, but
You know,
like she could still write.
to her village.
She could write. They need a better job to explain that. But
I still think she's pretty mysterious, though.
yeah, but I feel like they're just making her mysterious just for mysterious sake. Because before she couldn't talk at all, and all of a sudden, sign language came out. I was like, what? What?
Yeah. They also did the thing with like they were doing like the all girl ads,
Oh yeah, I love
like
that.
the girl power ads.
Mm-hmm. And
Which
you could
was
just
fun.
tell they were all sick of it. Like
Yeah,
all the women there when they were just like, so what do you guys think about like or so girls getting power or girls are showing power, and like all these, again, they're just hashtag things. They're not genuine I care about women succeeding sort of thing. And that's another time I like Stormfront. She's like, what'd she say? Dicks and chicks, man. We all get together. We all got to do this together or something. Like I was like,
Yeah.
I'm liking this girl. I'm liking her.
Yeah. But now I don't.
No, I don't.
And here's the
I
thing.
do though. I kind of like her, kind of don't.
I mean, I like
She's
that
so
she's in
good
the
at being
show.
bad.
She's really fun to watch, whatever she's doing as an audience member. But another interesting, the plot point is that Compound V got announced, got leaked by Starlight. That these superheroes were not born like this. They were made in a lab, and that's like a shock to the world. And of course, this is like a great comparison to real life collateral damage that we see companies do all the time. They're just trying to minimize the damage that this has caused. Like they say, "Oh wow, we didn't know about this one." Of course they did.
Yeah.
They're like, there was an employee. We've dealt with that group. It's not going to be an issue anymore.
Yeah.
We're investigating it. We're gonna.
And everyone knows, but like because they said that and no one can straight up prove it, nobody cares. Like it gets revealed and then it doesn't matter. And in your head you're like, oh, like I wish this mattered, but like again, it's like it just shows. It's showing like how our world is. Like if someone just denies something, it just
And Black Noir's just
goes away.
Black Noir's just crying. No, it's
I love
announced.
Black Noir.
He's great. He's like one of the first scenes in the show. Was it the first scene of the show?
Yep, this is first. Please allow me to introduce myself.
And he's just killing these this mercenary or terrorist group of Monza Soup. He's like a bunch of mercenaries with him, and he's just taking them out. Like the guy tries to blow himself or blow up, I guess you can do, and not die. And it just burned Black Noir, but it's just standing there. And then there's a kid sitting on a bed, and he tries to give him a stuffed animal.
He's just walking through with the head, though. He's just
Yeah.
like,
I think there was an early teaser of that because I'd seen that before.
yeah.
But yeah, he like rips a guy's mouth open like that.
I was like, why would you kill him that way? I feel like that's harder than just choking him. Like, if you're that strong, I feel like you could just go and just crush the windpipe or whatever. But he's like, nope, gonna rip his face in half.
Oh my god!
And it's like the guy too that Starlight, but back when she was Liberty when she killed. Did you see his face when he was on like he was still
gross.
alive? He just had like this huge like hole in his face.
The therapist or like the church lady, the collective thing with
Yeah.
Oh, she's good.
I'm glad that that's not dominating the show though so far. It's just it's only related to like the weird deep episodes.
Yeah.
You know. It's clearly some sort of cult, and I'm just like, I don't want this to like dominate the show. Like
it's like when he's picking out
dominated the show.
When he's picking out a girlfriend or something.
Yeah.
And he finds one that he really likes because
he's like, it's clearly that one, and it's like the girl. It's like, I'll do anything for a man, like anything at all.
Yeah.
Like,
and he's like, yeah, I pick her. Yep, I pick her.
It's clearly her, right?
And she's like, no, it's going to be the other one. The one that talked about skeletons hugging each other? And she's like, yeah. He's like, but you said I got to choose. You do get to choose. And you're going to choose her. Starlight, like, pretty much got to speak out against Deep, too.
How can I apologize? He was, like, being so nice, though.
He was trying so hard to, like,
he's like, I now recognize it was my insecurities, which made me do... She's like, shut up! Shut up!
Cover your fins. It's disgusting. Or your gills. I keep calling them fins. Cover your gills. They're disgusting.
Fucking disgusting.
That's hilarious. Right after he finally accepted them. I love just too, like when someone's like on the phone and then like Homelander shows up, like when when Maeve is like on the phone and he's just like in the doorway, like looking at her and kind of like not looking at her and oh, are you on the phone? Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't have super hearing or anything.
Yeah. It's so great how his conversations start like that. And then they end up with him like threatening, like getting in their face and like trying to control them.
Mm-hmm.
The actor is great.
He's great. I just wish he would eat some sandwiches. That's all.
I'll have to look at what he looks like in real life too.
He's skinny.
Is he tall?
I think he's as tall as that. I think he's just skinny.
As tall as what?
Is what he is in the show. Let's see. 5'11". It says he's 5'11", and it says Jack Quaid is 6'1", Carl Urban 6'1". So he's got to be on some stilts too, because he towers over everyone.
Yeah, I feel like Carl Urban's just a great actor.
I know. I keep like saying I want him to make it big. Like he's good.
Big though.
But he is big. But like
he's been in these great movies.
Like he's big. But like he's not like in the talk like Christopher Hemsworth or.
Did you call him Christopher Hemsworth? You called him Christopher Hemsworth.
Christopher Hemsworth. I'm being formal. That's probably his birth name, right?
I've never heard anybody say that, but it sounds way less Thor-like.
more like Pooh-like.
Yeah. Christopher Hemsworth.
Christopher Hemsworth? Pooh, where have you been? Well, just like Christopher Pine and
who else?
Christopher Evans. Christopher Pratt.
We need to start calling them that every single time we say. Yep. Christopher Pratt.
I just feel like Carl Urban, he's not like as big as the Christophers or like
or
even
Keith Urban.
Or like Heath Urban's.
Keith Urban. It's not even as big as Keith Urban.
It's not even as big.
Are they? Wait. Are they related?
Probably. They're both from that freaking island out there.
Are they? But they're both from Australia.
Well, I think Urban's from New Zealand, which is like like Australia's
both be
like
from New Zealand.
sweat that dripped off into the sea.
Yeah. And his other name, he's Carl Heinz Urban. So he might be from Pittsburgh too.
Regardless of rumors and assumptions, Carl's management has often stated that he is not related to Keith Urban, the famous singer, who is also from New Zealand and with whom Carl share a K initial in the last name.
That's right. It's Carl with a K.
Kyle.
I was gonna say they don't really look anything like each other, but
They're related.
they're probably related.
We're
Let's
just-
start that rumor.
We're going to keep it going.
That's the first 4 episodes of The Boys, pretty much, and I'm excited to talk about the last 4 coming up in 4 weeks. It's kind of fun to watch something that's coming out weekly, though.
It is. I want to binge this show so bad, though.
I want to keep watching.
I'm
I'm disappointed, but it's awesome though. I like that. It's like when you get to that day, it's like, ooh, it comes out tonight.
Yeah, it keeps the conversation going. It has you something to do on that day with everyone else. That's so. It's some pros and cons.
And I'm a big Reddit guy, and I really like being on like the live. While I'm watching it, people are watching it live, like when it first comes out. There's like live feeds of it where people just talk about like, oh, did you notice this? You know, maybe things you don't notice right away. Somebody out there probably did. Yeah. So otherwise, like, please, subscribe, comment. What did you think of this season? And follow us on Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff. Like us on Facebook. We'll be coming out soon with probably some like Mandalorian maybe talks we're talking about doing as
More
October
Viking.
31st. We're going to get a new season of The Mandalorian. We still got to cover season 1. Vikings, we're going to get through those seasons, work our way through that. We're going to be doing some Last Kingdom book talk, so stick around for that. And we hope you guys continue to subscribe. But for now, goodbye.
Christopher Pine. Time to turn the pines off over every Chris and every Christopher. Christopher Pine.